Let's take a call. Good evening. Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
Just a little louder, please.
All right. How are you? Can you hear me, Sid?
We hear you well.
All right. Good. I'm a stewardess, and I catch your show, not as often as I'd like, but I wanted to just comment on something that was sort of a surprise to me and see if you even knew about this.
Go ahead.
In a flight from Detroit to New York, I happened to look at the Detroit Free Press, and there in a column by Shirley Eder was some information about a concert in New York on December 18th involving of Art Garfunkel and songwriter Jimmy Webb. And let me see now, here it is, at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, December 18th, 8 o'clock, and apparently it's a cantata for children's chorus called The Animals' Christmas. Well, this is so crazy. I hadn't heard about Jimmy Webb in so very long, and all of a sudden here this is. And I was just wondering if you knew what he'd been up to lately. Besides this, of course.
No, I don't. A great talent, MacArthur's Park, and other wonderful, wonderful songs.
I think, didn't he write By the Time I Get to Phoenix?
Yes,
and
he did.
Up and Away?
Yes, a gift.
And I think something like 18 years of age, or...
I'm not sure about those, but certainly MacArthur's Park, which is a classic.
Well, I went all over the paper today trying to find out how to get a hold of this, and apparently you can, I can get tickets through Ticketron or Ticketel or Ticketron.
Now that, pardon me, that's December 18th, did you say?
December 18th, and here, the Cathedral of St. John the Divine.
At 110th and Morningside Drive.
Oh, where is that?
That's right near Columbia University. It's 110th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Make it 110th and Amsterdam. It's a beautiful cathedral. Yeah. I think Bishop Moore is the head of it, a very wonderful man.
Uh-huh.
You don't know the price of the tickets, do you?
Something like 10, 15, and 20 or something.
And it must be a benefit, is it not?
There you go. And
For
the
who?
other thing I found out was that there's going to be like a 37-piece orchestra.
It's worth seeing.
And, pardon me?
It's worth seeing.
Oh, I think so, with Art Garfunkel, and apparently 100 children's voices in back of him.
Okay, listen, dear. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, I didn't know whether you knew about anything more about it, but it sure sounds neat.
I think everyone should support that concert, okay?
All right, thanks so much.
Sweet of you to call. Thank you. That was a good call. December 18th, benefit. Art Garfunkel, Jimmy Webb, two marvelous songwriters, artists. Worth seeing.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah?
Yes?
Charlene Webster, I've been listening to your program now for, well, many minutes, and all this stuff about the Middle East is so over my head. But I'm not saying that I shouldn't watch, because, of course, I do get educated. But I just want to tell you about something that I thought was very interesting. Do you remember in the late 1960s there emerged a songwriter who got an awful lot of publicity? He was 19 years old and wrote the songs MacArthur Park, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, Up, Up and Away, Galveston.
Jim Webb.
That's right.
Right.
Well, I find out that there's this huge, I guess you'd call it a concert. Yeah, well, that's what it is. On December 18th at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine with Art Garfunkel and a children's chorus of, see, I'm reading in here, 100 children's voices, a 37-piece orchestra performing something called The Animals' Christmas. Where has Jimmy Webb been?
Oh, he's been out on the coast. He's been writing. Sometimes you write, but you don't write hits, so they don't become hits, but they're just as good quality music. He was the one that wrote Up, Up and Away, and which the Fifth Dimensions recorded, and they became from instant oblivion to instant success.
There you go.
There I go. I'm glad you watched, John. I don't mean for you to learn anything by watching my show. I just mean for you to participate, and you're doing it now by calling, and that's great.
Well, thanks, Phil. Thanks so very much. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Let me see if you have the answer to this. Now, when they discovered the orange, the fruit, the orange, did they name it after the color, or did they name the color after the fruit?
You got me, but I would imagine that when they discovered the orange, there was no color. They didn't know what the identity of a color was. There was a play about that. I think it was called The Big Apple. Or fold up and you wouldn't want to eat it.
Let me ask you another question, because you're a gentleman who's a man of the world.
Yeah, man of the world.
Do you think that President Reagan wears makeup?
Oh, absolutely. When he's on television?
Well, most of the time.
Absolutely. What do I mean, do I think? We all know he wears makeup.
Well, he sure looks rouged out to this gal.
Well, sure he wears makeup. Television would destroy a man of his position if he didn't wear makeup. Maybe they didn't put it on properly, or maybe they highlighted it wrong in this particular instance. But sure he wears makeup, and the makeup is there to hide the capillary veins and to hide all the wrinkles in his face and to make him look younger than he really is. We have an old president. We have a president who is old enough to have retired. They're trying to make the mandatory law 65, and our president is talking about running is way many years beyond that. Why should that be?
Well, I hear you, but my lord, sometimes I look at that gentleman when he makes a public appearance. I can tell he's just barely drawing the line of putting on lipstick. It's just too much. He looks good enough to bury.
Thank you, Joan. Have a very nice holiday.
Thank you, honey.
Okay, good night.